We're at Sardi's for the opening night celebration of the Royal Court Theatre's production of the Chekhov classic The Seagull, directed by Ian Rickson with a new translation by Christopher Hampton. The production stars Kristen Scott Thomas and Peter Sarsgaard, who are both making their Broadway debuts.
How does it feel? It feels like I won't sleep for a couple of hours. I'm kind of high. Naturally.
Yeah, I guess so. And talk about this translation, this new one by Christopher Hampton. I thought there was such clarity to this production that I had never seen before.
Well, you really catch some of the themes that run through it. You know, a lot of times, I think in Chekhov, some of these words that get repeated, do you remember? I don't remember. Luck. Just these themes that come through. If you don't translate them the same way, then you don't get those feelings. And I'm bored, boredom, things like that. And he really brings all of that out, and all of it just feels like it's right on the surface without being, annoying.
And I'd like to change places with you.
Why?
To know what it feels like to be a famous, talented writer. What's it like being famous? How does being famous affect you?
How? Not at all. I don't think. It's never crossed my mind. There's two possibilities. Either you're exaggerating my fame, or it doesn't affect me at all.
A lot of the Ninas you see play it over the top. You don't know where they're going. Talk about your Nina, what attracted you to her, and what it's been like playing her.
I mean, it's a part that every young actress wants to play, but the challenge of her, the idea that it's... I've in no way climbed that mountain, but to know that it's a character that's sort of misjudged a lot and often isn't portrayed kind of in a satisfying way makes you really want to sort of grab onto it. And so I was desperate to get the job, and then when I did, I was completely overwhelmed and terrified being in a cast of people like Kristen Scott Thomas and Peter White and people who'd been on stage for years. And so it's just been a massive learning curve. The whole thing's been like going to drama school and training twice, and the fact that we brought it over here is just such a dream come true.
I play Masha, who's a sort of depressive alcoholic, very angry, very heartbroken young woman, and I love playing her every night. She's got such fire in her.
And what was London like? Because, you were over there for a very short amount of time for rehearsals. What was that like?
2.5 weeks, which was sort of a whirlwind. We were rehearsing from about 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. every night, so I was immersed in Chekhov and in this production. So by the time we got back, I felt sort of ready for previews, which I didn't expect after 2.5 weeks.
Chekhov is the mistake, I think, about Chekhov, which is quite, reaches back in history quite a long way, is that he's very sort of melancholy and lyrical and kind of listless. And what you learn if you work with a Russian on the text itself is that he's actually very crisp and lucid and rather edgy and amusing. Of course, he was always despairingly saying that his plays had comic elements, and this was always resolutely ignored by Stanislavski. But of course, the more you laugh, the more you cry, in my view.
You are the best writer in Russia. You are this country's only hope. You have all this truthfulness and originality and sincerity and down-to-earth humor. You can convey the essence of an individual or a landscape in a single stroke. Your characters that just come alive. No one can read you without being smitten.
I'm thrilled to have... we've been doing it. We've been in preview now for 2 weeks, and so this is the kind of relief. Now we can stop being in preview and be really there. And I'm thrilled to have brought this production to Broadway because it was a really loved production in London, and it's hopefully will meet the same kind of audiences as we did in London. I love this part because I just think there isn't an actress in the world who doesn't recognise themselves in this part. I also really love playing a working mother, because that's what she is, and I just think she's so well written. I mean, Chekhov knew lots of actresses, and all the actresses he knew were all madly in love with him. So he knew how they behave in every single circumstance. So I just think it's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful part. I found that the New York audiences are really responsive and warm, and they want to have a really good night out, and I think they get one.
Oh, you do give it to us. Welcome to Broadway. Nice to see you. Thank you so much.